Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Camille Davis Show. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today, we have a very special show lined up for you. And please feel free to subscribe to my channel. Please feel free to comment. Please feel free to share. I appreciate you all. All right, so I have two very special guests with me today. And one goes by the name of Sean Gay Case, and the other is Marley Case. Now, we'll get into the meat of the matter, but I just want to say Marley was born with a unique situation. It's called Epidermolysis Bullosa, EB for short, and he has had so many challenges thus far. What can I tell you? This little boy is the most charismatic, happy, just amazing, smart little boy that I have seen. And I'm grateful to have him on today. And his beautiful mom. Welcome to the Camille Davis Show.
Thank you. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Marley.
Hi.
We are so happy to be here.
How are you?
I'm alright.
So guess what? Marley has a birthday this month. Actually, his birthday is next Wednesday, which is the 10th. And he's going to be how old?
10 years old.
10 on the
10 years old, double digits. And guess what,
Yeah.
Marley? Personally, I want to celebrate you because I remember when the doctors said you wouldn't live past how long, Shauna?
They said he wasn't coming out of the hospital. They said he wouldn't make it.
The doctors said he wasn't coming out of the hospital. But who knows? I know what man say. Our who say?
What God say. Right, Marley?
Our God say. And he's here right now. Thank you so much for joining me, Marley.
That's so special.
And we share the same birth month. By the way, my birthday is April 20th.
Just 10
So I'm
days later,
excited.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, Marley, how are you? How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm great, actually.
You're good? You're great, actually. Oh, I love that.
That's
So,
all.
Marley, what are some of the things that you like to do? Because I see you painting.
Talk about that a little.
You love to paint?
Painting was kind of it's my hobby.
It's your hobby. Okay.
What else?
All right.
The way that it started was a while back, like over a year ago.
Over a year ago.
Yes.
And you did some good work. I've seen them.
Yay, thank you, right?
Thanks.
Yeah. And you have a
You're
page.
welcome.
He has an Instagram page. You want to tell him that?
It's
You have an
me,
Instagram
Marley's
page. What's it
Life
called?
on Instagram. One word.
Marley's Light.
Marley's Likes. Guys, please go over and show him some love.
Yeah.
All right. So, Mommy.
Yes.
You were my neighbor. That's how I met you.
Well, go on, Camille.
What go on, Shauna? So, Shauna was my neighbor, and I remember she has 3 beautiful children. But when I met her, she had 2. And I was always see this charismatic Goldilocks hair lady, and she's full of life, and she's always has a smile on her face, and just the sweetest person. And her kids are super smart. She homeschooled them, by the way. This is all before COVID. Before we were more acclimatized to homeschooling, but she was doing that, right? And I remember she got pregnant with Marley, and I was there for the journey. I was there from the I saw the belly grow. Yes, and I remember when it was time for her to go and have the baby, and so I knew she was in the hospital, and then I got a text on my phone, and I remember I remember it like it was yesterday because it was one of them peanut phone. Do you remember the peanut phone them?
Oh yes, them time for true.
You got time there for true.
Yes,
It was one
BlackBerry
of
me
those
did have.
peanut phone. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember seeing the text, and the text said, I know you're a Christian. Get on your knees and pray. I can't tell you
Mm-hmm.
much, but Marley was born with a situation, and I need you to pray to God. And in that moment, I remember tears started to flow. And I got up out of my bed because it was early morning, and I went on my knees
Jesus, thank you.
and I started to pray. Shauna, talk to us about
Wow. So you see,
the
this
moment
is
you saw Marley.
Marley. All right. So this is special. This is really special. What you're saying right now is a special moment for me because back when I asked you to pray, I was not a Christian. I believed in God,
I wanted
but
you to share, yes.
I was not a Christian. But
Mm-hmm.
when certain moments happen, when certain things happen in life, you remember who's a Christian though. You remember who will pray. And I knew that you would pray. So you are one of very few people I would have told. Probably one of two or
Wow.
three. So I just knew Camille go and pray. And I also knew that you weren't going to bombard me with a lot of questions. So I thank you for praying because I 100% believe that the enemy was after my child. I don't think the enemy's plan was for Marley to live at all. So
Nope.
thank you for participating in, kicking him to the curb there. So all right, so getting back
Mm-hmm.
to
Like
when
I'm
Marley was
literally
born.
getting emotional
Boy, I
just
tell you,
thinking
it's a
about it.
journey, It's a journey. So
Yeah.
so Marley was a C-section. All three of my children were C-sections. And boy, I tell
Okay.
you, God good enough. So I
Him
had
good.
initially was supposed to have Marley at UWI, and like like maybe after the third visit there, like during pregnancy, you're supposed to go to their classes or whatever it's called. I don't remember now, the clinics or whatever.
Lamas? Or
What
okay.
something? Yeah. So
Yeah, yeah,
they
yeah.
were fine, and I like UWI, but I just had this feeling in my spirit. Now I know it's God telling me to go to Jubilee, Victoria Jubilee. And I was like,
Wow.
really? Cause quick backstory. I went to Victoria Jubilee to have Caleb. That's my second. He's 15
Okay.
now. So when I went there though, it was a bad situation. All the beds were full, and they were telling me to lay down on a bed beside another lady. So I'm like, what? They do that? Like I was laying on a bed beside
Wow.
another.
I didn't know that.
Yes. So and there was a stain on the bed. I kid you not, guys. There was a little stain on the bed, and I just held my belly, and I'm like, "Yo, picnic, go back. Kindly nobody come now." So I told
Oh my
Caleb
God.
in my belly, like, "Don't even bother. Cause we're not doing this."
Yeah, I'm not time yet.
Yes. So I really thought that I was in labor, but I guess it was Braxton Hicks. Whatever it is, Caleb listened to his mother, and I left,
Yes.
and I had my baby in St. Anne's Bay 2 days
Okay.
later. Right? So fast forward to me being pregnant with Marley. When I'm getting this feeling in my spirit to go to Victoria Jubilee, I'm like, oh, there's no sir, I can't Jubilee, we must go.
I'll go
But
back there, so
yes, it was a nagging feeling, and the justification I got was if something goes wrong, Jubilee is where everybody ends up. So
you're going there
while
anyway. Exactly.
right, while I was not a Christian, God was convicting me to go there,
Mm.
and thank the Lord because I did a C-section at Jubilee. It was really nice in the operating room. There was this nice banter going on because I did not know the sex of my child. I knew that my
Right.
baby was going to be Marley. I didn't know if it was boy. I didn't care. I just knew. Touched my
Oh, so
belly
you
and I said I
had
was
the
pregnant.
name.
Yes, man. From my phone, I was pregnant.
Ma.
I felt my belly. I held my belly and I just said Marley. And
Wow.
my husband had all these other ideas for names, and oh gosh, I shut down everything. Like it was interesting. But anyways, Marley was going to be. And so when
Yes.
Marley was born, the atmosphere changed because it went from vibrancy and just joy to just silence. and Marley had this very powerful cry. So I'm on the bed, on the, what you call it, operating table, whatever it is, and I
Right, and
hear
you're
this
not
loud.
able to see him yet
I
because
can't
there's a
see, but I hear this loud cry and it sounds strong, and I'm like, whoop, my baby is strong. I don't know if it's boy or girl, but everybody else
yeah,
cries, and I'm like, I want to them, might pick me very
yeah.
strong. So they come and they bring the sweetest little face, and then his knuckles, and
Mhm.
his right knee, from the knee. But they can't see your knee, Marley.
Oh.
From his knee all the way down to his ankle,
Uncle.
um, looks like raw skin. So let me explain
Wow.
epidermolysis bullosa now, right? So this
It's
skin,
off.
Yes, for those
let
who don't
us, okay.
understand.
So for this skin condition, right? The epidermis and the dermis, or skin, there are two layers, the epidermis and the dermis, and they are connected by a protein called
Collagen
collagen.
7.
Bossman knows is collagen 7, right? So basically, it is
Okay, Marley.
lacking. Yeah, it is,
Lacking or gone.
yes, it's lacking in them. So what collagen 7 does is it allows the two layers to work in tandem. So if you shift your skin, they're working in tandem. With them, um, they don't work in tandem because it's not attached properly. So any friction can let the top layer shear right off, and so clothes can be a
Mm-hmm.
problem.
Wow.
Any kind of touching, the wrong kind of touching can be a problem.
Toys can be a problem.
Anything can be, and then the thing too is one last thing. It's both internal and external because skin is everywhere. So EB
Mm-hmm.
presents itself in all sorts of ways. So that is what I
Wow.
was seeing, was the missing skin on his knuckles
Prior
and.
to this, have you ever seen one
Well,
anything like that before?
I thought I never saw it, but wait, years later I remember there was a feature on Marley years before, and there's this little girl that was on it, and I remember crying about it. I was like, how could this be a thing? Like, God, how did you? What is this? And so
Wow.
that person that has EB, I ended up being with friends with her online much later. But at the time when Marley was born, I
Wow.
couldn't connect those dots because it is
You
such a
just didn't
rare.
understand
No,
what
didn't.
was happening.
And neither did the doctors in the room understand what happened
Well,
either.
it's not America.
Say
How
that
did you,
again, Danny.
Well, it's not America.
Right.
what did he say?
He said it's not America. In Jamaica, he's expecting that nobody's gonna understand. It's true, but even in America, a lot of people don't know.
Yeah.
It's very
A
rare.
lot of people still don't know.
Yes.
All right. How did you, what were your thoughts in that moment? Because
My
one, you
word.
just had a baby.
Right.
And two,
My words were, what is this? Like this. Like, what is that? I mean, it's my. I still my baby cute, but it like that
mm-hmm,
thought just floated in my head. I'm like, what is that? And
mm-hmm,
I guess they guessed me or something because I remember asking that, and then I
right.
guess they knocked me off.
Because they didn't want you
All
to
right.
ask you too many
Talk,
questions.
Hmm.
talk us through the next phase. When, like, did you find out what it was when you were in the hospital, or so what did the doctors say to you?
Okay, so I didn't find out what the condition was until in the night, So at Victoria Jubilee, you
Yeah.
they take the baby from me. I guess I do that in every hospital, but I'm on the ward. I don't see my baby after the surgery, and so in the night someone comes to me and tells me that my baby has that long name, epidermolysis bullosa. That did not translate well to me. I didn't know what she's talking about. I could pick up
Right.
epidermis because I did go to school. So again,
Mm-hmm.
at Victoria Jubilee, the father is not allowed to be there outside of this. He gets the same privileges as anybody who's visiting. So this is night,
Right.
and Omari is not there. My husband is Omari. I'll go see
Mm-hmm. Hi,
Omari.
Amari.
Yeah,
Wow.
and I called him, told him what it was,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember being very panicked, and just imagine the state of mind. And I'm just like crying. I'm like, they same have epidermis bullosa, something me don't know about epidermis something. And I just described what it was. And so my husband is at home with my two bigger kids who are
So I was
super
just gonna
eager.
ask. So by this time, Omar hasn't seen the baby yet.
No,
Nope.
No, he hasn't seen the baby yet.
Me. Say Marley.
Marley, okay, the baby Marley, who is a big man now.
Marley hasn't seen Marley yet.
Marley wants me to put some respect on his name, yeah?
Right? That's right.
So I told him, and we hung up, right? But shortly after I spoke to him, he called back, and it was one of those moments where I knew to listen to my husband. He spoke very, very, very seriously. He said, Shauna, come off your phone. He said, promise me you will not go on Google. You will not Google this. Promise me. And I heard the
Because Dr.
seriousness.
Google?
Yes.
Ooh.
And knowing what it is now, and having seen the pictures on Google after the fact. I did not see the first pictures of EB until 2 weeks after Marley was born. So I really obeyed my husband. Wives, obey your husbands, yeah?
Yes.
Yes. So yes, I still obey.
The Bible said so too, right? Yeah.
Exactly right. So I obeyed, and I pushed it even further, because 2 weeks later is when I started looking at the photos. And had I seen those photos that night, I would not have had faith.
I can
would have
only
given up.
imagine.
Right. And so he told, and then the doctor that came up and told me the name of the condition said two things. She told me the name of the condition, and she said that there is an ointment that is needed, and they don't have it there, and I need to get my husband to go and get it and bring it. So I tell my husband these things, and in about 45 minutes, my husband is at the hospital with the ointments, and they're like, "Oh, the doctor left. They didn't expect him to come." And so, God bless my husband, because we've had the same attitude from then to know where we are just on top of it. We're this is not a condition where you can lay lazy.
Hats off to you. I see it. And anyone who knows you knows that you're literally one of those very proactive moms with this situation.
God, thank God.
I remember you telling me, I remember you telling me that they told you that Marley wasn't going to come out of the hospital.
Right, that is what they had said to me, that he wouldn't. So they said he wouldn't come out of the hospital. The devil is a liar. Exactly, and they also said, the doctor also said that she needs me to go, and she needs me to go speak to a grief counselor. That's what her recommendation at that time. So Marley was born on the 10th. Yes, I would not have seen Marley until the 12th, I believe, because I needed to recover, and my headspace was not good, and I think my blood pressure was way up there or something. So it actually turned out that Omari kind of saw Marley before me. So he would have they didn't allow him to see him that night, but the next day, whatever hours were allowed, Omar was there with the baby. They had put with Marley, sorry. Oops. So they put Marley in an incubator, and
it's okay, Marley. We know you're a big boy now. We're just talking about you back when you're a baby.
Right. So I'm telling the story because you are my baby, right? Mm-hmm. So that thank you, darling. He's so sweet.
He's such a gentleman.
So Omari got to go by the incubator and see everything, and in those 2 days, Omari was very proactive. I have to talk about Omari here. Big ups to my husband, because he went on to Deborah.org. Deborah.org is the organization that helps people with this condition. It stands for Dystrophic Epidermolysis Bullosa Research Association, something like that. Deborah. So he went onto that website, got all the care, the best practices for newborns. They call them neonates with EB. And he printed it all out. I think it was a 40-odd page document. So he printed out a set for himself or for us, and a set for the hospital. And so on that second day after Marley's birth, he asked me to, because sometimes we have a different cadence, and my husband is a very, he'll come off as rather domineering and stoic, and I'm a little bit gentler to a certain extent, because when they were telling me that my baby might not live, my aura changed, you know? I was like,
of course.
Say that again?
But it's not what
it says.
Wait, she's talking.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's not what man says, it's what God says.
It's what God says.
I remember when Marley came home and I saw him for the first time, because like I said, you were my neighbor.
Yeah.
And I remember trying. It was my first time, one, hearing about the condition, and two, I've never seen anyone with it.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember just, of course,
So
I
you
have to
together.
support you, and that means holding in
Yes.
how I feel, because I
Mm-hmm.
was I was confused. I was like, and I was worried about you,
Mm-hmm.
and of course the baby Marley at the time, because I know him the way I call him baby. But
Forever my baby.
I remember, I think I came over there and I remember I prayed,
Yes.
and I kept praying.
Thank
Like
you, girl.
I would literally go on my knees and pray for him.
Yes.
And I remember, just like you said earlier, that it's an internal and an
Hmm.
external condition.
Yeah.
So I remember one night you called me and you were like, "Come pray. We have to go to the doctor because he's he had an eruption,
Yes. Right.
and his esophagus at the time. You said
Yes.
like it was coming up, and
Oh,
when you said so to
yes.
me, message,
Yes.
my blood run
Boy, me dey
cold. Me
put
don't
some
know what
something
to
for you,
do.
girl. Come here.
No, it's okay. And you see, that's the thing. We have to be our brother's keeper. It's okay. It was happening to you, and you needed someone to talk to.
Yes.
You needed
Yes.
someone to, and I wasn't going to shy away from that,
Yes.
though I didn't
It was
understand
scary.
fully.
Yeah.
It was scary, and I wanted to be, some, like, if you needed anything, fine, I'm there. Me don't know what to do, but anything you need,
Yes.
I'll try. And so I remember when you were telling me, and I started to pray, I said, God, I really don't know what this is, but I'm asking you for mercy. I'm gonna ask you for help, Marley. I'm gonna just start pray, and I started to cry. Like, me start ball. But I'm not crying, me start ball. But I'm gonna tell you this because you're
Yeah.
already
I
dealing
kind of
with
figure.
enough. And but may I tell you, I put down some prayers for this
Put me
little
on.
king right here, and to see him now, because you guys have been through so much.
So much.
Right now he's in the US. Talk to us about that, because throughout the years, to even say this is such a blessing,
I tell you, God
because
is
the
say,
doctors said that he would not
would
live.
live. He said, to God be the
And he would,
glory.
I remember you even told me, to God be the glory. You even told me that they were saying something about he had to be in a bubble. And I
Right.
In a
remember you
bubble?
said to me,
Huh?
Let me,
yeah,
yeah.
I remember you said to me, they're not God, and they're not going to put a timeline on my child. You don't even remember them
I don't
something,
even remember somebody say exactly that for real.
Yeah. They're not gonna put your faith. I don't know. You changed, by the way,
I tell you
because the
this, Mr.
Shauna that went into
Boy,
the hospital is not the Shauna
the
that
Shana
came
that
out.
came out. That is, Mr. Praise God, that is it. That is it. But let me say something before I get to being in America now, right? So,
Yeah.
unbeknownst to you, I believe, you are saved in my phone as Camille Prayer Warrior. So the rest of the world know you as Camille the actress. For me, you are Camille Prayer Warrior. And
Oh my gosh.
I thank God
Shauna,
for
don't make me
you.
cry.
I thank God for you because boy, the way how God works sometimes is so amazing and mysterious because I have you as Camille Prayer Warrior. I know that without a doubt. I ask you to pray, you're going to pray. And also you mentioned the church that you went to. You mentioned Pastor slash Prophet Ryan Mark. And big up
Mhm.
to Ryan Mark, Pastor Mark, Ryan
Hi,
Mark, you know.
Pastor Ryan.
Yes, man. Big up to him
Yeah.
because there's a lot of angles to my story. We can't ever cover it in any one podcast. Hint, hint, there will
I
be a
was
book.
even
There will be
thinking
a book,
I need a
guys.
part two with you because it's so
There's
much.
gonna be a book too. Like God put it on my heart. I'm gonna have to put all of this. Yes, have to listen to the Lord. So it's on the journey to come into America. I never met Pastor Ryan Mark then, and I never got to go to the church because I think at the time his church was in was it Portmore? Where was it? Wherever his church was
No, it
though.
was in New Kingston. It was in the New Kingston, Half a Tree
Was it?
area.
Wherever it
Half a
was,
Tree
I
Road. Yeah.
think I did start going to another church. Because again, as you said, the Shauna that went to the hospital is not the same Shauna that came out. I had
It's a
always
different
believed
person
in
that came out
God.
of the hospital.
Yes, but I was deceived. I thought that there were many paths to God and blah 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 blah. You couldn't tell me nothing. And for the next 2 or so minutes, I'm only gonna be talking about God, guys. So it's so interesting how I was convinced that I'm a good person and I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't this and that. So I swear I'm going to heaven. You could tell me nothing. Me a guy heaven, me know this. Yeah.
Mhm.
But but at that time I was so far gone from Jesus that around that time period and a few months after I thought that Jesus was akin to Santa Claus. Like that is how deceived I was.
Wow.
And so almost a year after Marley born, I think, sometime within the first year of Marley's life, I met a Nigerian pastor that came to the same complex that we lived on. He came to pray for Marley. A friend of mine made him,
I
had him
think I
come by to
remember
pray for
that.
Marley, right? And he came to pray for Marley, but he saw me and he was like, "You, I'm here for you. I know I come to talk to you." And by the
Wow.
time that man left my house, I gave my life back to God. Like that man just so big up to Pastor Joshua Aluma Kinwa. He's back in
Oh,
Nigeria. Yeah, big name, you know.
love that name.
Yes. So all right. So you're feeling uncomfortable. You want to go now?
No, I think I'm good.
You
It's
sure?
okay, Marley. You
I
can
think
give
it's
us a
best.
few
I think
minutes.
you
It's
should feel,
okay.
man. You can go down. Go. Give me your earphone,
Thank you
please.
so much, Marley.
All right.
Bye.
Oh yes. Yeah. Go ahead.
Bye.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.
I represent you well. Don't you worry. You look uncomfortable.
Yes.
Can I him to make sure.
Oh wow. Wow.
Big man. Don't close the door. Thank you. All right. So Marley, no. So I find out about his condition. It was very daunting. The learning how to care for him again. Big up to my husband because the document with the best care practices, it actually helped to save his life. They changed the way they were dealing with him. And that preserved his skin and everything. And 2 weeks after he was born, he was released. No, quickly before I got to leave, take Marley from the hospital. When you do a C-section, you're in the hospital for about 3 days. Normally, after 3 days,
Yeah.
that a mother is good enough to go home. That is the hardest thing I ever done in my life. Hearing that I would have to leave that baby there, and not only that, show up at home without a baby. Because while my husband is home with my two bigger kids, he didn't know what to tell them. In our relationship, I'm the expressive one. Me chat chat chat. He's the rock. Yes. So he did tell
Yeah,
me
he's very
he said
quiet.
yes, he's quiet. He's different. So I he's definitely the opposite of me. So I was
Yeah.
like, I gonna have to explain to them.
You guys
I think
work.
yes, he did tell them that something is like wrong with the baby, but the baby will be fine. Something to like. So when I came
Because
home,
how do you break that
that's
to
right.
them?
So I already in pain physically enough from a C-section, and I remember we have this. Let me tell them about where we live. Right in our complex, there's this big, nice East Indian mango tree. God
Oh
bless that
gosh.
East Indian mango tree. I miss that
We
mango
ate
tree.
from that
Oh
tree.
my gosh, we sure did. So
We
I
did.
remember coming and stopping underneath the mango tree because I saw them at the window. They're so expectant and so excited, and I don't have a baby in my hand. And I broke down right at the mango tree. I break down. I'm like, Jesus, give me the strength to make me get into the door and tell them,
Hmm.
say, I don't. But I mean, of course,
Oh
God took
my
me through
gosh.
it all. And and Marley's care is such that the skin is the largest organ in our body, so it is easier for him to catch anything than anybody else.
Right.
So
And I remember
with
you saying, I
mhm,
remember one of the things, and because this is something that you have to do daily, you were saying, come bathing him is such a horrible experience,
mhm,
not just for you, but for him,
yes, it's painful.
because of how painful it is.
Mhm,
And I remember thinking, asking God to really give you strength because
true. Never know if you
as
pray.
a mom and as a new mom, we all know how hard it is already. And on top of that, you're dealing with all of this. You're not even getting time to recover,
Mhm, mhm.
So it
It's
must
really
have been
hard.
really difficult.
Right. So, for context, everybody, so Marley, from birth, Marley greatly relies on bandages. So he has to be bandaged. You would have seen a
Mm.
little bit when he was here. So his arms, his forearm, his arms, his legs, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times his torso, but glory be to God, his torso doesn't need to be as bandaged as much anymore.
Thank God.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
but so when I was in the hospital and I hear that I'm gonna have to do all these things and everything, first of all, they scared the crap out of me. Um, not my natural state is I'm little Miss Spontaneous. I do what I want when I feel like. I am not the most organized person in the world. I have the capacity to be organized because Christ lives in me. Without Christ, this world
Amen.
is not organized. So when them telling me that I have to the God bless
Do
the
all
nurse, the
of
head
this.
nurse, but she tell me that I'm going to bleach down the walls and everything up, it go boil, everything up. Weird, them be going in and me, they afraid of
Poor thing. You
myself,
think about it.
God.
If you don't have the information yourself, you just a tell, you just a
Exactly.
talk.
Yeah. So I
So
was
you
like,
can't blame her.
I was like, my life. So I was like, God, this is my portion now. But yes,
Mm.
injecting something that God put in me that is I can't take credit for. Night Marley was born. The night Marley was born, even though I didn't see him, and I was sitting after they told me the news and what it's called. I was on the
Yeah.
bed rocking. I remember I was rocking back and forth like a mad woman because everybody else on my ward, we are on the C-section ward. Everybody else got their baby that day. Everybody else had their baby in their hand, and I didn't. That's nearly mad me. So me a rock,
Oh,
and
wow.
while I'm there rocking, and madness is on me. I am on the tip of my head bursting. I heard God for the first time. I heard God say, be still and know that I am God. Remember, I know I am not a Christian. However, you see,
Goosebumps.
this
Goosebumps.
is, you see, to everybody who still sends their children to Sunday school, don't ever stop doing that. Because even when it looks like they're not paying attention, and there are
Yeah.
seeds that are being planted. Anytime you have an opportunity to put a scripture in a child or to make a child listen to
Do
a
it.
Sunday school song, a gospel song, do it because these seeds are planted. You don't know when they're going to sprout. Because
You
obviously
don't
that's a
know.
scripture I heard before. Probably never fully get the context right, but when I needed it, I heard it. I heard God
Yeah.
speak to me on that bed, and that is why my head never burst because it did
So
feel
you
like it
heard his
was.
voice clearly.
See, I heard be still, and I heard an audible. Well, when it's the audible inside of my spirit, and it arrested me, and I held on to it, and for months,
Wow.
be still, cause when coming back from the hospital, when I had to leave Marley at the hospital, ask Amari if
Mhm.
Amari had to hold me because me I'm mad out, because what are they
Mm-mm.
doing with my baby? Are they watching him?
Exactly.
All these questions.
You don't know the situation. They don't
This
know. So
right,
you're trying to figure out what care
right,
is he
and
getting.
yes, and the truth of the matter is they did a, God bless the NIC, the ICU, or the intensive care pediatric unit. They did a very good job, but I don't know that there would have been necessarily a better situation here in America. But every day, I don't know. But when I came each day, I could see handprints on my child. I could see up until Amari told them, gave them the document. You could see handprints. You could see where he was held wrong. You could see the fingerprints on his skin. I could say, okay,
Wow.
there wasn't a mark on his here before, So the anxiety was rife. God really held me through
Yeah.
them things. So fast forward to now, right? There's so much that happened. But long and short of it is being in Jamaica, a third world country, we don't know about this
Yeah.
condition. There is not any real medical help for Marley. We did get put in touch with the top dermatologist at the time, Dr. Fitzhenley. So that was a comfort.
Mm-hmm.
We'd travel to see. We used to be in Kingston first of all, because I live where Camille lived. I think when Marley was about 2 years old, we made a decision to move to Mandeville. So we're up
Because it was a
up on
cooler
Yes, it
environment.
was the coolest place. That was not the plan, but it was just best for Marley because even when we weren't holding him wrong, even when his clothes wasn't messing with him, even when there was no friction, the heat in Kingston would cause.
The heat
blisters to
it's crisp.
yes, it caused blisters to come up on Marley's body. So the thing with blisters, even to this
Yeah,
day, if there's a blister on Marley's body, we have to use something like a hypodermic needle and pop it.
you
Um,
do.
yes, we still have to do that. So we have to use scissors on this child. We have to use hypodermic needle. We
Oh,
Omari and I have become like expert wound care nurses. We had no training, but we had
wow.
to become that. And another thing that was hard for me was I wasn't able to breastfeed Marley. I tried, um, but skin is
And we know how
everywhere.
important that
That
is
was
for a
really
mom,
us
that
for all
bonding
mothers,
moment.
right? Because you
All
see, that
mothers.
pregnancy with Marley was my healthiest pregnancy. I was drinking green juice every day. I remember a Rasta man tell me that my baby going to be green. So you're picking like a band green the way I drink green juice. And my skin was
I remember,
glowing. Look at the
I
irony of it.
remember.
My skin was fantastic.
Oh,
And then for my
wow.
child's
When
rebirth,
you,
the skin condition was kind of weird. But hey,
yeah.
so
And so the kids, it's a good thing the kids were homeschooled because now they were
yes,
uprooted
yes,
and
yes.
just
So it
relocated
didn't
in
really affect
Mandeville.
them like that. Yes, it's true. Right. And you see, God is so intentional because if I
He is.
wasn't already used to being at home homeschooling, it would have been such an adjustment to leave the corporate world to take care of Marley, but I didn't have to really do that. I just had to kind of
You
pivot,
didn't
but
have
not
to.
like get all uprooted really. And Mandeville has
And
been great to us.
I see how just over the years, because you have been so actively seeking more for him, more for Marley.
Hmm.
I've seen where I've reposted stuff where you had GoFundMe
Yes, we did
because
that.
the situation was it keeps
It's
going, it keeps
untenable.
happening, and
Yes,
it affects him internally. I remember, just even the other day we spoke and you were like, he had to do some surgeries. But talk us to that moment where you're like, okay, I need to
need
get
to do
some
this.
funds
Yes.
because yes, because I need to get him more help, which is
All right.
outside of Jamaica.
All right. So we're talking about Marley, but we're talking about God, right? So
Yes. You
last
can't
year,
look at that. Let me just say this. You can't say Marley without saying God.
without talking about God for true, because God's light is
You
really
cannot.
in him. And you have
Yes.
to just know this child to know God's light is all up in this kid. So last year, this time, so while I live at home. I mean, I'm a homemaker. I homeschool Marley. By around 2020, I sent the kids to school. I kind of cut off homeschooling them for COVID
Yeah.
kind of sent them back home. But apart from that, so I'm only homeschooling Marley. And a friend of mine had a her mom has dementia, and she asked me if I could come and stay with her mother until she found like a proper somebody who she trusted to take care of her mother. So
Okay.
Omari is so gracious. Omari works from home. My husband is a software engineer. He's a consultant, so a lot of what he does he can do at home. So he said,
Right.
you know what, Shana, go on, you go and visit your friend. So I'm like, you're good, you're gonna have Marley. And he's like, of course I can take care of Marley because these for 9 years we've figured out so much with Marley. We kind of have a system. I could homeschool him from where I was because I have all his schoolwork set up, and it was not
It wasn't
easy
new
for
to you
him,
because you were doing it, but it
right?
was
But it was
hard for you.
doable. So yes, we got to go. I got to go, and God, while I was away, I realized I think God wanted me by myself. God wanted me outside of my regular environment because in the scenario where I was helping my friend, her mother is nonverbal, so there's a lot of quiet. And
Right.
yes, I help my friend, I'm getting a lot of quiet time with God, a lot of God. There's so much downloads. But while this is going on now, while I'm away, my husband is telling me that Marley's having days when he's not chewing. So backing up a bit, right?
So when you
Marley,
say away, meaning in
I
Jamaica
no,
or
no, no.
overseas?
So I had to come. I was in Vermont for just a
Oh,
few weeks,
Vermont.
right? I was in Vermont last year. This time I was preparing to go see. Still my friends used to find who she, somebody to take care of her mommy. So it was just cool. And I got to have a break, kind of, sort of. But yeah, backing
Yeah.
up to Marley, right? So with the condition, remember I said I couldn't breastfeed Marley. Feeding Marley
Right.
has always been difficult. We used to have to, he couldn't drink, he couldn't suck on a breast, and he couldn't drink from a nipple bottle. So his sucking reflex was delayed. So we don't even think about these things. But when a baby drinks from a
Mm.
nipple bottle or sucks from a breast, they develop a sucking reflex, and that's very important for them. Marley didn't have that because any sucking would create trauma on his mouth. So
Wow.
when we got brought him home, we had to cut a hole in the nipple bottle, and I drip fed him for a long time. So Marley actually did not start having solid foods until he was 6 years old. So
Didn't start having solid foods until 6.
yes, so everything was blended. I used to blend sweet potato, blend pumpkin. I just tried everything that could blend
It's like
because I
a
wanted
puree
nutrition.
form.
Yes, everything was blended. He got his nutrition. So then now
Hmm.
after age 6 now, and start eating. So yes, he'd still get his smoothies, but he was chewing, and it took him so long to learn how to chew because again the sucking reflex and has a lot to do with chewing. So anyways,
Yeah.
there are some standard things that people with his condition go through. Now, epidermolysis bullosa, there are different types. He has one of the more dangerous subtypes, and those people, so he has recessive dystrophic epidermolysis bullosa. We call it
What
RDEB
does that
for
mean?
short. With everything, recessive in that he's not getting it from a parent, like it just showed up. It's a recessive gene, and
Okay.
there's more technical things, but I can't go into all the things. But for him,
Mhm.
it causes his skin, his fingers to fuse. So when he was born, his
I
fingers were
noticed that.
separated, and now they're fused together. His
I
toes
noticed that.
are fused as well. And a lot of times, people with RDEB, they struggle to swallow sometimes, or they have malabsorption. And so, from a young age, children up here with EB, they start doing esophageal dilation. So they surgically insert a balloon, and the balloon is
Okay.
expanded and it expands the throat, and they do this periodically. It's a standard thing up here, but back home none of that was
Okay.
happening to Marley, and he should have started
Right.
doing it way earlier. But all the way till 9 years old, he's never done it. And the truth is, we didn't know that we were supposed to do it. Like we're focusing a lot on the skin, and
Yeah.
we're focusing a lot on the
And
skin,
you are
and
dealing with, yeah, just dealing with day to day, trying
exactly.
to get
So
him through the
now,
day.
so what started happening is while I was away, um, Marley is over at different periods. Marley would struggle to swallow, and we
Mhm.
pray. We give him like honey and water or whatever. God tell us what to do basically, and we just try things. And after the most he would go without having solid foods was like 3 days. So when hubby told me that he's struggling to swallow, I wasn't alarmed at first, but then I realized that progressively this is getting bad. So I'm like, hey, God, what's going on? So there's a lot of me
Yeah.
saying, God, what is going on here? Why is it getting worse? Omari's doing everything, and
Mhm.
so when I come back now, so there's the element of Omari not wanting me to worry too much. So him telling me, but him no want me. He wants me to enjoy my
He's trying to
break.
protect you.
Yeah, no. So
Yes.
when I come back from that trip, I seeing how bad this is. Like I'm physically seeing that Marley's struggling to swallow water some days. Sometimes Marley won't drink or have his first meal until like 1 o'clock in the day. And I'm like, this is crazy. He
Yeah.
hadn't had any sandwiches for like 6 weeks, and I'm like, what's going on? So, anyways, the time with God, I started feeling in my spirit that I must pray for Marley to get that throat surgery. I started talking to a friend of mine. She has
Mhm.
EB. She has been an angel to us. She's hosting us now here where we are. Um,
Nice.
and
Nice.
she's like, it sounds like he needs an esophageal dilation. So we're looking into this. And when I went back now, I still didn't know
So this
how.
friend, you said this friend, she also has EB.
She is 30 something 30. There's a video of her online, so I met her because of her video. Her video is talking about her life with EB. It's a very good one. I need to send it to you. Her name is Michelle Hall. We call her like a celebrity in the EB circles. She's
Wow.
just
So
an
you're in
angel.
the presence of someone who knows, been
She
through it.
knows it. She knows it. Like over the years, I
Mm.
met her I think 6 years ago. So I got brave after she did the video, and I was like, yo, I like that video. That was so good, and it was so inspiring. And then
Yeah.
she's like, oh, who's that? And she's like, Marley's so cute. And so she's been there. She will suggest, okay, use this bandage instead of that bandage. And she tells us like where to go and what to, because a lot of Marley's supplies are not sold in Jamaica, first off. So we've had to do a
Look
lot
at
of
that.
things on, like we order on Amazon, or we get donations, or some church, like somebody from the, people have been good to us. God has always provided, bandage wise, even when it look
Yes.
like things are get really low. So,
Hmm.
anyways, I come back and I see how bad things are getting, and I just needed. I, I asked God for direction. What should I do? And then right after I pray, I see something about somebody doing a GoFundMe, and I'm like, oh yeah, that is something I can do now. And then
Right.
basically God gave me the go ahead to do it, and uh, I saw Marley talking. Marley's faith, guys. Marley's faith is next level. Marley's at 6 years old.
He
Marley
has
decided
crazy
to get
faith.
baptized. Crazy faith.
He's
At 6 years
baptized?
old. Yes, at 6 years old, Marley, after devotion one day, we had covered the book of John, the first
Oh,
chapter of John,
wow.
together. And after the devotion, Marley just looked very
I'm
perplexed.
I'm on
Like he,
John. I'm actually on John. I started reading
yeah.
John. Wow.
Hello, I love, yeah, that is a book, you see. So after that first one, John 1, I said to
Congrats,
him,
Marley.
yes, I said, Marley, what are you thinking? Did you have more? Because I always ask him if they have questions after devotion. And he was like, Mommy, so Jesus got baptized too? And I say, yeah. And him say, and Jesus got baptized in River Jordan? And I say, yes. And him say, I want to get baptized. Can I get baptized in River Jordan? So yeah, every mother wants to hear their child say that they want to get baptized. So
Yeah.
it's sweet me. But then I was like, hey, not River Jordan, not
Not River
not
Jordan.
River Jordan, but we can find a river. So he
Yeah.
got baptized, and Caleb got baptized the same day and all that. So that's a beautiful thing. What was I talking
Wow.
about related to him
The
now?
GoFundMe.
Right. So Marley's faith now. So I was saying you're going to need to. I don't know how we're going to do the surgery. You have to do the surgery. I said this little boy
Yes.
go get a paper, and Marley write down the list of things he's planning to eat after he gets surgery. I don't. This is before we do the GoFundMe, and when
That
I
is
saw him write the
crazy
list of
faith.
what he's gonna eat, I was like, "Come, you know what? Come right now." I was like, "Let's stop overthinking this." Boom, take up the camera, and I just filmed it, and put the
Wow.
GoFundMe up, and we had our target, and within 26 hours, we hit the target. Like people
Within
really
26 hours, a
within
little
that.
bit over a day.
Yes, we hit the target. God is
My
God was like,
gosh.
yes. And
Big up God.
I don't know how much time we have, but when we
Yeah, we
got
have to wind
done,
down a little bit.
yes, when
But
we
yeah.
got to come up here and get to the hospital and get the procedure done, they said to me that Marley's throat was 3 millimeters wide. So over the years, all the times he was having this the issue with his throat was
Yeah.
tightening. No, 3 millimeter. No, guys, think of a black the straw for the coffee straw. You know, the black straw, the little tiny one, the one where they normally give you a double of. That tiny one. That is how tiny Marley's throat was getting. So
That's why
Marley's,
nothing could
I
pass
tell you, yes, and so you see, God was on time, because had
on
we
time.
delayed, I don't know if I'd have Marley right now. So it is at the stage now where Marley's throat has to be dilated every 2 months. Sometimes we try to do
So
it
he has
quicker,
to do a
but
surgery every two
every
months.
2 months to widen his throat. And I was very against this thing, but I didn't understand. And now Marley has a G tube. It's like an incision they put on his belly and put in a feeding tube. And I was so afraid of this thing, but guys, sometimes I just don't understand. It's been a great help to him, because now he can get fed through it. And
Yeah.
oh, Camila, hugging you, you here? I
It's
hug you,
okay.
but it's God is
I
working
should,
it
yeah.
all out. God is
I mean,
yes.
he's
God
working
understands
it out. And
perfect.
what I want anyone who sees this video,
Mm-hmm.
um, I don't know if your GoFundMe is still active, but I know
Mm-hmm.
you need
Still
help
active.
constantly because it's financially
Mm-hmm.
depleting.
Oh yes.
And so what I want persons at any point in time that you see this video and you're moved, that what is your if
Our
is the
handle?
GoFundMe still active?
Yes, the GoFundMe is still active, so I can send you the
Can you
link.
give
You can
them the
post it.
information?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, it's
It's
not.
like one of those.
Yes, send me the link and
Yes,
I will
post it on the.
definitely have it
Yeah.
here. Yes, so
Thank you.
you guys can
Thank you very much.
support in any way you can.
Really
It's a
appreciate
lot.
it.
It's been a journey for Shauna
Yeah, it's a
and her
lot for
family
us.
and
Yes.
little Marley. And
Yes.
he's so optimistic about
He's
the
such a
future. He
delight.
wants to live,
Yes.
and I love that about him. And
And follow his page
I
too.
know.
Follow his
Yes,
page
follow
too.
his page at
Marley's Light. Marley's Light. I'll give you
Marley's
all the
Light.
links. Yes,
All
Marley's
the
Light.
links will be here.
Yeah.
And Sean, and your Instagram handle is I am Sapphire.
I am underscore Sapphire. That's my nickname. So I am Sapphire.
Under I am Sapphire.
Yes, right.
Guys, this has been a story of just crazy faith for me and just seeing God, how
Mm-hmm.
God defies
Yes.
what man says because he is God. He created Marley with all of,
it might seem like
I'm sorry.
deficiencies or
With
it might seem
everything,
hard. Yes.
he created Marley. And so if he created him,
Mm-hmm.
he's capable
Yes.
of getting him through this. And
Yes.
Shauna, God bless you.
God is being
God bless
glorified.
Marley.
Thank you. God bless you too. You played a
You
part.
have transformed, and that's the least. I am happy that I could have prayed. That's
Mm-hmm.
the times that you called upon me to do so. But I believe that you're gonna write your book. It's gonna be a bestseller, maybe turn into a movie. You never know.
There's a lot going
But
on.
I do believe that God has a huge plan for your life, and He has an even bigger one for Marley's life. And I am excited to see the power of God through this little boy.
He is moving.
And so I'm inspired. I am strengthened. I am just grateful for your strength. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for coming on this show. I remember when we were having the conversation and you said to me, because my first episode said I wasn't going to start this podcast. That's what I talked about. Because, little different things. And you're like, will people support it? Will people, whatever, all these different fears.
You're in your calling.
And I remember you said to me when I asked you to be on the show, and you were like, of course. And you were like, if, you got certain signs that day, and you were like, if there's if there was ever a doubt that I should have started, well, this is my answer that yes, I should have started this podcast. So thank you.
Yes, thank you too.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being on.
Ask me a question and I plan to ask you.
Yes, you can ask me one question and then we have to go.
All right. Yes, I have a lot of questions, but I knew I had to choose one. And so, because again, guys, this is Prayer Warrior Camille. Know that she can reintroduce herself as Prayer Warrior Camille.
Oh, wow. I did not know that that's what you had me in your phone as.
Yes,
Prayer Warrior Camille. Oh my gosh.
So take it back to what you guys know, Camille, the actress. Camille, if you were to star in somebody's biopic, who would it be and why? Who would you play? Catch her, chef, I think.
Mine?
Yo, girl.
You know why?
Yes. I like that answer, Camille. Oh, I like it.
Because I have a lot to share.
A lot of story to tell. Yes, girl. I love it.
A lot more than people know. Look how many part the podcast about.
But no, that is fine. Don't worry.
I have a lot more than people
No.
know to share. And I do believe that my story will
It will come.
inspire
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people.
It
And I
will.
pray to God that I do, even if I don't get to play it, I pray to God that that story
Gets
gets
told.
told.
Yes. All right. Well, you
What a
started.
question. The lady have me at a ball. Jeez.
I'm so sorry. Not really. Not
It's
really.
okay, but
You are
thank you for
walking
the
in your
question.
purpose, girl. Just know that you are walking in it. Stand up in it, girl. Yeah.
Thank you, Shauna. I love you
Thank you,
and
Camille. I love you too.
I appreciate you and your family.
Mm-hmm.
Say hi to, I'm gonna have to,
All of them. They
off the
want to say.
podcast, call back to
Yes.
talk to Tyler, but big
Yes.
ups to your husband, big ups to your family. And like I said, guys, please, if this touched your heart as much as it touched mine, please comment. Please feel free to share. Please feel
Mm-hmm.
free to like.
And pray,
Hi,
guys.
Shauna. Thank
Always
you so
pray.
much.
Prayers help us. Yes.
Big up Marley and big up
Yes.
God.
All right. Big up, God. Hey.
Big up
All
God.
right. Yes. Thank you,
All right,
Camille.
bye.
Yes. God bless you,
Thank
sis.
you.
Bye, everybody. Bye.